What's up, everybody? Welcome to the No Nonsense live stream. How are we all doing today? Are we okay? Let's talk about a few things. This is the 80th episode. We're streaming now on Facebook, and then I will later upload this to YouTube. So be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. A lot of information being passed out in the world, isn't there? So let's go through a little bit of it to the best of my ability. And I've seen people shift in the last couple days to a different perspective, and we'll talk about that. It's kind of interesting. So the title of this is Trauma, Experience, and Thinking It Through. And think it through, whatever I did. Right now, we're all experiencing trauma. The whole world, okay? We're all in it, right? Lives are turned upside down. People are worried about money. Kids aren't in school, this sort of thing. And we'll get to the kids in a minute. So we're all in a state of trauma, okay? You, me, everybody. We all have had our opinions. We all have shared information we thought to be true or credible, myself included. I've ruffled feathers on the internet. It is what it is. But in the last couple of days, I've noticed that a few people are all of a sudden this Plandemic documentary got released, and I watched it, and the doctor lady in there, she claims to be against the Fauci for, this is where you have to take in stuff and then discern things, but also track like the history of certain people. Like, know where stuff comes from and know what you're like, where you're getting your information from, who's behind it, why they're behind it. It's like all the same group of people and has been for decades, right? So I saw the documentary, and a part of me goes, I'm always a skeptic by nature. That's how I am. I have a skeptic philosophy within me that I take everything that is introduced into my world as bullshit the first time I hear it, or I think it's ridiculous. I have to warm up to stuff. You can't just shove it in my face. That's how I am. So this documentary's been floating around the last couple days. People are resharing it, posting it, and all that crap. And it's interesting. And is it truthful? I don't know. It's kind of weird that a documentary came out right now, in the last month and a half when this whole thing's been going on, last 2 months, whatever. So I question that because it's like, yeah, I'm not discrediting it, but it is weird. I'm just saying it's weird. I don't know. But the things that were said in that documentary have now opened up some people's eyes to they might be getting fed some nonsense, which I've said from day one. I didn't believe any of this was what it was. I said, you can watch old streams. I believe, coronavirus existed, but is not as severe to shut down the entire country. I stand by that. And I'll get to the groups of people that I think we all are getting lumped up into now. I always thought, that it was a greater problem ahead, that this was all caused to get us to go into a direction that whoever runs this world wants us to go into. That direction being tracking everything you do, that sort of thing. So you got to think it through. So how do you think it through? I've had my pride get the best of me many times in my life, okay? And one of the things I've discovered is there is no substitute for experience in anything. Whether you're an experienced doctor, nurse, carpenter, electrician, police officer, musician, whatever it is, the more experience you have with something, the more credit you do have. And that doesn't mean you completed 4 years of school and I'm not talking about academics here. I'm talking about real, actual experience, day-to-day stuff. Like, I don't know what goes on in a hospital room day to day, right? I don't, because I I'm not in that field, right? I don't know their protocols. I don't know on the day-to-day. But I have visited an ER enough times to kind of get, the idea of what to expect when I go there. But that's about it. Now, as far as what people have to deal with that are working there, I have no fucking idea. No clue, right? It's like, I have friends in all different areas of life that do different occupations, and all of them will tell you, like, you just don't understand until you go through it. And you're right. They could tell me stories, and I won't understand. It's like, I don't know what it's like to be, an EMT or a teacher or, well, I kind of know what it's like to be a therapist, but that's a different story. So, I don't know, right? I may be a bartender. That's what I've done for a long time now. I work in the restaurant field. I've owned my own business at one point in time. I've been in a band. I've toured. I've done things. I've played shows. I've met people. I have also been in places that are just interesting. So, point is, people don't understand what it's like to be a daily restaurant. You have to have all wheels oiled, otherwise the place falls off the rails, right? So no matter what occupation you have, you don't know until you're in that world how it works. You can think it works, you can read about it, you can talk to somebody in it, but you yourself don't understand. Just like I will never understand certain things in this world, but I respect people's perspectives on it because I'm not there. So what I do is talk to experienced people of all walks of life, get their honest assessment, and if I trust them, I take that information in, I discern it for myself, and then I decide which route I want to take and what to believe or think or feel, whatever. That's what I do. And my pride has gotten the best of me over the years because my pride will not allow me to hear things that don't necessarily maybe agree with me. Maybe I had my mind made up like this is what it is. And I've had, the last 2 months have been great tests for all of us. And I said in the beginning, I believe that this whole experience was going to be a test of everyone's strengths and their weaknesses. That's why I love doing videos because it's there. If you don't believe me, you can just go watch it. And one benefit for your Facebook memories is it'll tell you exactly what you posted on that day. So there's that. If you guys want to have a good laugh at yourself in about a year when that shit pops up in your memories, remember where you were at that day. So my pride will kill me. So I have to be open-minded to the potential of being wrong, but also discerning things from all angles. Now, I still never believed that this was what they said it was, getting us to the point of shutting down the economy, trying to make us all wear masks. You can still say no to that, by the way. And terrifying the shit out of everybody into thinking they're going to get sick or get somebody else sick. That's such trauma, guys. Okay. You get the mask. Now let's talk about what you're doing to little kids. And this is something you should address because I saw a friend of mine on Facebook say that the things we're experiencing, how are we going to do it? Yeah, you should be concerned about children because the decisions you make today shape your future, whether you think they do or not. And I'm a big believer in being in the now. I am in the now. I'm not worried about the future. I'm not dwelling in my past. I'm always in the moment for the most part. But I do know that what I decide to do today will shape my tomorrow. So, do I fuck up sometimes? Do I fail? Yes. Do I piss some people off? Do they piss me off? Do they get under my skin? Occasionally. But I know better today to not allow my emotions to get the best of me. And I've realized that a lot of my frustration sometimes comes when, like a month and a half ago, you're saying like this isn't what it is, and then some documentary comes out a month and a half later and says that, and then other people are on board all of a sudden who weren't. And then now they're kind of like looking at it like, this is interesting. And, it can be frustrating from my perspective because it's like, well, I know. Because where I come from is I have an ability to be honest with myself and others and tell the truth. And based on my own life experience, I have to because that's what I need to do. A long time ago, I climbed into my own hell. And who built the walls around that hell? I did. So who got me out? I had to climb out, but I didn't do it alone, and I needed help. I had to admit that. And I realized that going back to my old ways of life and thinking and behaving and believing weren't going to cut it anymore. I literally had to relearn how to live from scratch. And it's a scary thing to do, but in the long term, it's what I have to do to enjoy life. And today, I wouldn't change it for the world. So, what trauma are we in right now? Well, when you scare people enough to either they wear a mask or don't wear a mask, and they think, and people wear it for all different reasons. I lump this into two, well, not two, but this is the categories I've come up with. I call them COVID clingers, the people that are just so convinced that that's the only issue. And then everybody else apparently is lumped into conspiracy theorists, because anybody who shares any information that's different, we're all nuts. I go, okay. Well, a month and a half ago, that documentary that came up, I was saying, this isn't why we're shutting down, and there's a bigger reason. And then the documentary comes up saying there might be, and then also reports every single day of stuff happening. People don't want their rights taken away. They don't want to be microchipped. They don't want to be tracked. They don't want to, this isn't the new normal, guys. It's only the new normal, which is another term that should lose all meaning, because it's not. It's because you hear it, you accept it, you comply, you behave. Now here we are. So, the greater problem beyond the Karooni babies is that you have to look at it from what's beyond this, right? And now we're starting to see it, certain states more so than the federal level. I think they're testing it in states like Illinois. I live in a state where the governor's like, we have to get on a global scale to test everybody all the time, everywhere we go. No, we don't want that, guys. You don't want that. Even if you're scared, even if you believe that conspiracy theorists or whatever, it's all bullshit, you don't want people tracking your every move, giving you medical information, stuff like that, and knowing everything. That's a horrible way to live. It's not fun. It wouldn't be fun. And coming from a person where that shit fucks with your head, it's not good. It'll be a shittier time to be alive than now. So be cautious of the trauma that is ensuing in your own household. So it's up to you to not freak out and panic. Panic is never the answer, right? And I'm sure a lot of people have panicked insanely over the last 2 months. But when you have a little kid and you put the mask on the kid and they don't want to wear it and you force them to, you are seriously fucking them up. I know it doesn't seem like it now, but call me in about 10, 15 years and let me know if they don't have some kind of mental issues or an alcohol or drug problem, because that's what's going to happen. Why do I know this? When I was a kid, I experienced a lot of trauma in the house. It wasn't like I was beaten or raped or anything like that. I got a belt, a swift kick on the ass from my parents. My dad was the enforcer. I've talked about this a lot. It was good discipline, but I also absorbed energy from different levels that really screwed with my head later in life, like the anxiety issues that I had based on just like my mom's energy in the house. I told this before, where we would be in the car and we'd be on the highway, and my mom, a truck would be turning into the lane, and my mom used to be like, Joe, and scream at my father, and my dad be like, what the fuck? And the guy wasn't even close, all the time. It wasn't even close, but that energy transferred back into us kids in the back seat, right? I know it sounds crazy, but I'm speaking from my experience. And if you tell me it didn't fuck with me, you're not me. It fucked with me because I have an ability to analyze my life in depth today. It fucked with me. Didn't mean it didn't fuck with me then, other than that initial fright. But that fright energy stuck with me over the years. So now, today, we're forcing kids to wear masks. Not a good idea, guys. As parents, not a good idea. Your kids are going to have a lot of problems in about 10, 15 years. If you want to be an addictions counselor or a therapist or a psychologist right now, might be a good time to invest in that, because we're going to have a lot of patients in the future. Even the people today that are adults that are spiraling with stuff and addiction, think it's not crazy? I know. I've battled it myself. It's not fucking easy, guys. It's very hard to battle yourself when you're in addiction, okay? Very hard. How do I know? Experience. Experience is no substitute. Now, I remember a friend of mine telling me a story one time. He used to work in a bank, and this kid came fresh out of college with his financial degree. Oh, he learned all the financial degree, but as soon as he got into the bank, he didn't last because the basic financial knowledge he didn't even know on day one. And my friend, who had a lot of experience because he worked there and learned it as he experienced it, was able to look at this kid with his fresh college degree and be like, how the fuck do you not know that? You got a degree in finance, but you don't know this basic information that we need to do. And the kid didn't last, I believe. So just because you study, read books, have this knowledge, you have to live it and experience it for a time in order for your credibility to be taken notice, right? You know, I haven't had a drink of alcohol in over 5 years, almost 5.5 years. I suffered by my own choosing, by my own hand, nobody else's. I climbed out of fucking hell by being honest with myself, by learning to live honestly. So when this stuff in this world presents it to me and I come up and give you my opinion, it's not based on conspiracy theories or that. It's based on I can sense bullshit a mile away. I have an ability to do that. So when I share information, or anybody like me who shares some different information that just gets you to think it through a little bit. Think it through. Like with the kids in the mask, think that through. It may seem like you're doing the best in that time today, but I guarantee you in the future it's going to come out in a very vicious way. And it's not going to be good. But it can stop today. How do you stop shitty behavior and trauma? By not letting it go. So don't engage in it. So I call them the COVID clingers, the ones that are just thinking it's like this is it and what we got to do. And I think a lot of people are coming up after a couple months of lockdown. Those that are probably still clinging to that are just that. They're just afraid to let go. And that's okay. Nothing but love here, but you know, you gotta battle. You're on your own with those demons. You have to overcome your own fears and anxieties, and then once you do, you don't gloat about it. Number one, if you want to be true humility and humble, you don't gloat. You go. You just let it be. You don't tell people what to do. Don't get on a fucking high ground, this moral, spiritual thing or anything like that. You have to just let people. You have to let people suffer sometimes. It's frustrating though. I'll be honest about my frustrations about, you know, when these people a month and a half ago, people call me crazy. I got friends delete off Facebook, and then now they start to see it come out for themselves. You know, if I'm honest, there's a part of me, my wrathful side, that's like, I fucking told you so. But then there's my other side, my humble side that goes, I hope for your own sake you learn your own lesson and then learn and grow stronger from that and then move forward and not to repeat those mistakes in the future. So there's a lot of people are making fun of conspiracy theories. Like, what is a conspiracy theorist? Like, it's all of a sudden just thrown out there. It's very broad. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, though I speak like I have uncovered a whole slew of things that we've been lied to. And it's not even just lied to. There are provable things that you can research on your own and then take in that information to decide what it is. And when you realize that you've been lied to a lot, it's so hard to take in information and as truth. And I know. And it can swing the pendulum the other way, and it has for myself, where sometimes it's like I question everything. Everything's, you know, and then all of a sudden I don't trust anybody, and that's not good. You don't want that. But you have to decide where you're at with that, right? And how do you do that? Well, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with other people. You have to tell the truth. You have to be like, you know what? I think that might be bullshit, but I have to be willing to open my mind to maybe attaining this information. Like, look at the people that are talking about the information. It's like if you're getting your okay, at this point in life, in history, in time, if you're getting any of your information from mainstream news and you believe any of it, you're gone. Like, just no. You don't get to talk to me about opinions. The fact that you're like, well, they've been lying to us for decades, and maybe this time, they're telling the truth. No. Aesop's fables, man. Never trust a liar, even when they're telling the truth. Like, you just go. And if you do want to regain trust with people, it takes a long fucking time and a consistent track record of truth telling before that trust is gained, right? I know in my own experience of life, I know from my own fuck ups, I know I've eaten the humble pie, and I'm glad I did. I'm grateful I did, honestly, because I wouldn't allow me to be where I'm at today and not be scared, like to the point where I'm like, yeah, I'll comply and wear a mask. I'm like, no, there's a bigger problem here, and I see right through it. I saw through the smoke screen from day one, and I think people, if you're like me, when you're in that state of mind, you're blinded from all this shit, you're distracted, you watch your pornos, you're distracted from the Instagrams, you're just looking at tits all day, talking to mostly men. Women do this too, but you kind of, your mind is fucking taken. It's taken by the nonsense, the shit. For 5.5 years, I have removed nonsense from my life. Ton of it. That's why this is called the No Nonsense live stream, because I'm just done. I'm tired of stupid. I'm tired of just ridiculous things. And I don't watch shit. I don't watch the news. I don't watch TV. I don't watch anything that I know is just programming my head to think and feel and believe shit that just is not true from reality. And experience has taught me that is the truth. My experience is I live a much more serene, calm, fulfilling life the more I got away from news, Facebook. And I've been ruffling feathers the last few weeks here and there with shit. I get on there because I get pissed sometimes when I just see dumb things. Just dumb things, And it is what it is. I'm not a perfect person. Never claimed to be. Never wanted to be. But I will always tell you the truth from how I feel on that given day. Like, I have no problem then. I don't hide who I am or who I'm not. Like, if you talk to me one-on-one, if we had a good conversation about what you think is going on, I guarantee you'll walk away feeling better. Because I'll listen to you. I won't get all emotional and pissy with you. But on the internet, you can get really pissy because you can't see people. But if you talk to people and you can hear their fears and understand and see where they're coming from, it's easy to do. And I wish people would do it more instead of battle with words that you can't hear tone with. But hey, that's what I want. It's not going to happen. So it's up to me to live that life the way I want, which is do what I say and follow it up with action, right? So think things through. Think it through, the damage you might cause to a person by telling them you have to wear a mask or else. Think about, I grew up in a world of so much fucking fear. And I got out, and it was not easy. And this is pre-internet days. And then now, the last 10 years with the social media and internet, dude, it's fucking crazy. You have to think through shit. If you're going to be a parent, you have to not let your kids sit on the internet. You have to not give them a screen to look at that God knows what the fuck it's programming into their brain. That's on you. You're responsible for that. You're responsible for your kids, no matter what you think. It's not the fucking daycare or the school. You are. If your kid sucks, it's on you. And I watched this great video by a guy named Elliot Hulse. He had his father on. You can find him on YouTube. He's like a guy who just talks about being a man, which is he's got some good strong values for men. His dad comes on like a champion and talks about how family is first and he'll die for his family and the things he would do, and he doesn't give a shit about material stuff, but he's very passionate about it, and it is family first. But you can't do family first in the sense of fear-based. You have to do it with love. You have two options always in this world, always. To make decisions out of fear or to make decisions out of love. Love is always stronger than the fear. Always. It may seem harsh. It might seem, more. Always. Fear is short-sighted. Fear is short-sighted for a short-term feeling, for a short-term relief of a discomfort in the now. But the long-term ramifications of the fear choice are, the ripple goes very far. The love choice is the harder choice, but the ripple goes even further than the fear. And it'll transcend over the years. And you will have generational love and things. And you can turn this around today. We all grew up in the same society, same America. I did. Grew up with the Nickelodeons, the shitty food, all that crap. You can turn it around. It starts with you. Truth, honesty, different way of life. And when you do that, you can see how much nonsense is being taken in here. And it's you have to go through the stages of grief. I'm not just saying like, oh, it's that easy. No, it's not. It's a lot of fucking work. But it's so much better than the fear. The love. It's the harder choice. It's the harder choice, but it's the better choice. In my opinion, the only choice. Because if you go with fear, right now you might be okay, but you're going to regret things later. You're going to reflect on that if you don't think through what it is you're doing today. And I can tell you this from my experience. And experience is no substitute for any kind of fucking whatever you can regurgitate from your Google search online. My experience tells me to trust my instincts today, to trust the truth, to trust love, not fear. Be there for family and friends and those who I can help, and that's all I do. That's it. And what am I talking about now? And I know there's a lot of shit just being blasted and has been being blasted daily for 2 months now. Always try to look past the problem, meaning be in the now, but see what this does today when you give that consent over, when you say, yeah, let's just wear masks and not have guns and give all that away today so I could feel okay. But you have to deal with you first. You have to address your fear. You have to address you. If you don't, your fear will now transcend onto your children and people around you, and it'll be pretty obvious. But you don't have to live in the fear. You can conquer the fear in you. Bring it up. Talk to people that understand this. I understand fear. I understand the mind. I know how crazy this thing can get. I've been called crazy in the last 2 months. Just for not thinking and accepting information as it's told me because I'm told I should. I don't believe that today. Because in my experience, I've done that, and when I did, I almost died. Because I didn't listen to me and decide what was best for me. Now I do listen. I'm very open to all kinds of people's opinions, thoughts, and I love talking to people that don't talk and lead with their emotion, but lead with their concern, but are willing to hear out a perspective and think it through to the point and maybe possibly change their perception and look at something from a different point of view other than how they see it. Somebody did that for me. And it got me to where I'm at today. The healthiest I've ever been, in the best shape of my life, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And it was a lot of fucking work. And that ability to conquer my own fears and concerns and anxieties is why I speak to you today from experience. So when I see information come out, whether I don't understand what it's like to be in an ER all day, or I get it, I don't understand the protocol in that world, so I respect the fact that people in that world are just doing the best they can with the information that's presented to them. I do know, I don't know, but there's a reason they're pushing this all in this direction. I think people are getting it today, and I hope so. Never have anything mandatory be told you need to get this or else. No. Fear-based ruling doesn't work. You'll never tell me what to do. I don't respond well to demands. I don't think any real man responds to demands. You know who you are. Face your fears. It'll lower your anxiety. The more self-aware you become, the less anxious, the more ability you will have to be open to interpretations of others and their experience, because their experience is no substitute, will enhance your own understanding of what will become better for you. And then, so you make the right choices for today that lead you into tomorrow. And we are all in this boat right now. So it's up to us and you as each individual to do what you can, but never consent to this nonsense of mandatory anything. And I'll admit sometimes I get biased with my beliefs and my thought process because I'm intense. It's a fucking Polish and Russian descent, dude. I'm sorry, we don't know how to be calm. It's just my cadence, okay? So I won't apologize for that, but truth is truth. It comes out no matter what. And it's beginning to now, I think. But at least a lot of people are at least questioning things, which is great. Have the ability to question things. And I know we all clung to certain ideas and beliefs and stuff that felt so comfortable. But here's the truth. You're selfish. When people are like, I don't know if I can't have a thing, if I don't know if I'll be able to go here for the summer. Selfish. Address your own selfish desires first. Be willing to let go of them. And embrace and be grateful for what you have right now. And if you do that, life is that much more wonderful. My family, I love them. They're all okay. Is your family okay? Look around you. Are they all right? Great. You're okay. Be honest. Tell the truth. Always. Fuck how people feel about it. Because that's on them. They will one day be faced with the truth about their decisions in life. And we all have to go through this, guys. I get it. It's suffering, but it's needed suffering to get to a better stage of life. And then once you learn this, you don't have to make certain decisions that fuck your life up forever anymore. You just don't. But learn your lessons if you do. I learned mine. And my experience tells me, I don't know where this is going. I believe they told us a while ago that they pretty much stated it as an experiment to see how we all react. And we've reacted pretty intensely the last couple months, right? Some people are conspiracy theorists, some people covered clingers. But don't panic. You're okay. And the solution to the problem today is just be honest. But try to remember love over fear. Always. I know. love, compassion, understanding. We're all in this trauma together. And it's up to you to not let the trauma continue for generations to come. Because I'm going to be around most likely for a long time. I don't want to live in a police state world. And I don't think, half the population definitely doesn't want that. So nobody wants that. So just be honest with yourself about your motives, your feelings, how you are. Choose love, not fear. Because the choices you make in fear are so short-sighted that you won't see the hell that you're about to bring upon yourself when you do that. I know from experience. Love. Don't take yourself too seriously, guys.